Which one should you buy? M5 MacBook Air? MacBook Neo? Let's compare them. Comparing these two MacBooks is a bit of a challenge because, yes, although they are very similar in looks and maybe in price, they are completely different in everything else. Because these two MacBooks are completely two different concepts of computers. And I know, you viewer currently watching this video and decided of splurging a bit more and get a MacBook Air or saving a bit more and getting the MacBook Neo. And that's the big question. Should I spend more? Should I spend less? And obviously, what am I getting if I splurge for the M5 MacBook Air? And what am I losing if I buy the MacBook Neo? This video will answer all of those questions. So let's start the comparison. First off, in the design, these two computers are different but similar. The MacBook Air is thinner and wider than the MacBook Neo. The MacBook Neo is a bit more compact than the MacBook Air. Both are made of aluminum, and they're both, in the hand, feel about the same size and weight. The only difference that you actually will notice is side by side. And obviously, the MacBook Air is definitely sharper in the edges, while the MacBook Neo has this curved design. I do believe that the MacBook Neo's design language will be the future for the MacBooks, while the MacBook Air's design is older. This is from 2022, if I'm not wrong, while the MacBook Neo's design is from 2026. I do believe that from now on, the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pros will obey this design language. This is the beginning of a new language of design for the MacBooks. I think that MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs will look like this in the future. While the MacBook Air's design is more industrial, sharper, less fun. Yes, the MacBook Air feels lighter and thinner because of this design. But I think that the MacBook Neo feels a bit more fun than the MacBook Air to hold. And they perfectly serve their markets. The MacBook Air is more of a computer for grown-up people that want a lightweight but work computer, and they don't need that actual GPU performance that the MacBook Pros offer. While the MacBook Neo was designed for younger people, students, and even kids or grandparents. This serves the market pretty well. It has super fun colors. This is the citrus color, and I love it. It has also a blush, which is a pink, and also has a blue. I love all the colors that Apple made for this MacBook Neo, but I understand they're a bit more childish, younger colors, while the MacBook Air has more of an adult color scheme. And if you hold them side by side, obviously, you won't notice the difference in terms of construction and build quality. They are still made of the same aluminum, same materials, and the keyboards are pretty much the same. Where we'll notice the difference though is on the trackpad. The MacBook Air's trackpad is a force touch trackpad. It means that it doesn't click. It has an haptic motor behind it that fakes the click. This means that this will last throughout the ages. Unless the motor goes bad, this won't get ruined at all. While the MacBook Neo features a normal trackpad, it clicks. And this makes sense because Apple needed to compromise in some stuff. And compromising on the trackpad, being a force-touch trackpad or a normal trackpad, doesn't actually compromise at all. And it's somewhere where Apple can save money and make this computer cheaper. Obviously, side by side, you will notice a difference. Obviously, me, that I've been using MacBooks for like 10 years now with force-touch trackpad since 2016, I feel the difference with the MacBook Neo. Do I care enough? No, and that's the thing. I think Apple compromised in the right areas with the MacBook Neo. Even though this computer costs $600 and the MacBook Air costs $1,100, using them, unless you are doing it side by side, you won't notice a drop of a difference. And Apple, they completely excelled in this because they managed to get out things that are expensive on the MacBook Neo and still make the experience 95% the same as the MacBook Air. Typing on both keyboards, guys, if this is important to you, is extremely similar. I would say like 99% has similar. Both don't have flex on the machine. If you press down on the center of the machines, you know, with those cheap Windows laptops that you feel the cheapness of the laptop, both laptops are incredible. And the MacBook Neo excels at this. So the build quality overall of both laptops is incredible. And even though one costs almost twice as much as the other, you won't notice a big difference between the two. As far as the I/O though, here you will notice some differences. The MacBook Air features the MagSafe port and two USB-C ports, while the MacBook Neo doesn't. The MacBook Neo has only two USB-C ports. Difference is, with the MagSafe port, you can charge via the MagSafe and have two free USB-C ports, while with the MacBook Neo, one of those goes for the charging cable and the other doesn't. Another thing, it has two different USB-C ports. One is USB-C 4, so it's faster, while the other one is USB-C 3, so it's slower. And when you connect SXTs or something to the other port, the slower port, the computer warns you with a little badge on the right top end corner saying connect to the other port for faster speeds. While the MacBook Air, no differentiation, both are high-speed USB-C ports. No Thunderbolt, but still pretty fast. Both computers have headphone jacks, and both speakers are not the best. Although the MacBook Air speakers are definitely way better than the MacBook Neo. The MacBook Neo speakers, although they look very fun, they are on the sides, they look like really good speakers, they are teeny. I would say that they are between the iPhone and the MacBook Air. So M5 Pro and M5 Max coupled with the M5 MacBook Air. Which one should you pick? They are not the best. The MacBook Air speakers are similar to the iPad Pros, although I think that the iPad Pro has a bit more fullness to the sound. Where we'll see a big difference is on the displays. Both computers have a 13-inch display. The thing is, the MacBook Air's display is definitely way better. It's way brighter and way more color accurate than the MacBook Neo. You can still here, look at this, and if I move both computers, you will definitely notice the viewing angles changing, right? With the MacBook Neo, the viewing angles suck. They are terrible. If you move it more than like 45 degrees, the computer dims down a lot. While with MacBook Air, it actually performs way better than that. And this is a P3 color gamut display, so if you want to edit photos or videos, you have the fuller color range of P3, while with MacBook Neo, you don't. So this is not the display that is accurate enough for you to edit videos or photos. The MacBook Air's display, it is. And this is where we reach the most important part of this comparison. If you are a prosumer and you do professional work, but you don't need that GPU performance, that sustained performance, those fans from the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air can handle your work. For example, photographers, they love to have these P3 color gamut displays so they can edit their photos on the terrain, and with this super portable design, they can do that with the MacBook Air. And now they are wondering, can I go even cheaper because I just need to open my photos and edit them a tiny bit on the terrain with the MacBook Neo? The answer is you can't, because this display is not accurate enough for you to edit your photos. It's a good display, it's bright enough, but outside, because of the 500 nit limitation, it won't be bright enough, and even worse, it's not accurate enough for you to edit your photos. While with MacBook Air, you will. Spend $1,100, guys, you will thank me later. This is a way better machine for your work, especially when time matters and accuracy matters. If you're just a normal consumer that just loves to use the computer for regular as stuff, writing documents, PowerPoints, Excel sheets, browsing the web, AI tasks, the MacBook Neo's display is plenty enough. Oh, and I shouldn't need to say this, but both displays destroy Windows laptops in terms of quality, accuracy, and resolution. Probably the biggest difference between these two computers is the chip. The MacBook Air has the M5 chip, a professional-grade computer chip, while the MacBook Neo has the A18 Pro, not the A19, the A18 Pro. Yes, forgive me, I made a mistake in my last video. The A18 Pro is present on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and that's an iPhone chip. Yes, you heard me right, that's an iPhone chip, while the MacBook Air has a computer chip, a MacBook chip. And here lies the biggest difference. The MacBook Air has 16 GB of base RAM, the MacBook Neo has 8. And if you know what I'm talking about, then buy the MacBook Air. Because if you don't really care about RAM, then it's okay, you have no issues with 8. But if you know what RAM is, buy the 16, because RAM is essentially very important for any AI tasks that run locally, essential to run several programs at the same time, and at the end of the day, I hate to break tip to you, most computers don't have enough RAM already on these Macs, and so Apple uses their SSDs to swap RAM. And this means that if you have 16 GB of RAM, Apple won't swap as much as if you have 8. If you have 8, Apple will use up lots of your SSD space as RAM. And what happens is, whenever your computer gets fuller in terms of space and the SSDs have less gigabytes available, your computer will become a lot slower than if you had more RAM. So RAM is essential on these computers. Having 16 gigabytes of RAM not just ensures the future-proofness of these computers, but also makes it faster for longer. While the MacBook Neo having 8, I understand why, but at least Apple give us the A19 Pro chip next time with 12 gigabytes of RAM. At least. And the differences don't stop there. The M5 chip has way faster cores for CPU and GPU than the A18 present here. So editing video, photos, it will be a lot faster on the M5 MacBook Air. The difference is you have to pay twice as much. And the thing is, should you? Because if you don't have the needs for that, why waste your money? Because the MacBook Neo's A18 Pro chip is plenty enough for everyday tasks. It's super bursty and quick opening up apps. It's so quick using Safari or even editing some videos. I definitely was able to edit my last MacBook Neo video. Here, I edited some portions of it, didn't have any type of plugin, but simple 4K footage timelines ran just fine, while the MacBook Air M5 chip will be able to handle a lot more. I wouldn't say these two machines are perfect for editing video or even 3D rendering tasks, because long-term performance issues will appear. These two machines don't have fans, both of them. This means they are very silent, but it also means that they will thermally throttle whenever they get too hot. So don't do very high-intensive tasks for long periods of time on both computers. If you are a person that wants to do that and you are watching this video, I recommend you to see my last MacBook Air M5 versus M5 MacBook Pro comparison video. First link in the description down below for you to understand why you shouldn't buy the MacBook Air instead of the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro will be much better for your tasks because it has a fan, and so watch that video to understand a full comparison between these two computers. But going back for these two computers, if you know what RAM is and you are asking yourself with doubts if this is enough performance for you, buy the MacBook Air. You will thank me later. With more powerful chips should come more battery consumption, right? Well, wrong. The MacBook Air has bigger batteries, way bigger batteries than the MacBook Neo. So even though it has a more powerful chip, the M5 chip is as efficient as the A18 Pro, and with bigger batteries gives you better battery life. So the battery life on the MacBook Air is definitely better than the MacBook Neo. I wouldn't say it's revolutionizing, I wouldn't say it's much better, but a couple of hours better. So if you are getting 24 hours with MacBook Air, you'll get around 20 hours with MacBook Neo. Both batteries are excellent. Both batteries are way better than the competition, especially from the Windows side. But I would say that if you love working outside, traveling with your computer, then I would say that the MacBook Air might be the best option. It's also important to notice that the MacBook Air has a backlight keyboard, while the MacBook Neo doesn't. If that's something important to you, well, easy choice. And now we reach the most important part of this comparison. The MacBook Air at $1,100 with a 13-inch display and the MacBook Neo at $600 with a 13-inch display. Well, which one should you buy? After you heard all of this that I've talked about during the last 15 minutes of video and you are still undecided, let me help you out a bit. The MacBook Air has two sizes, the 13-inch and the 15-inch, while the MacBook Neo only has one. The 13-inch MacBook Air starts at $1,100, while the 15-inch starts at $1,300. A very, very expensive computer compared to the MacBook Air's $600. The thing is, this computer comes with 16 GB of RAM, and I think it comes now with 512 GB of storage, while the MacBook Neo only comes with 256. That's not enough, in my opinion. I think you should upgrade the MacBook Neo for the upper tier of storage, giving you the Touch ID button, while with the MacBook Air comes in standard. This means that this computer goes for $700. Student discount will get you at $600. While the MacBook Air at $999 with the student discount comes with 512 GB of storage, 16 GB of RAM. This means that $400 separate these two machines, and that's still a lot of money. So if you don't value the backlight keyboard, the second USB-C port that is faster, the MagSafe port, and much more that I've talked about throughout the whole video, the MacBook Neo is the computer for you. I think that mainly the displays, the ports, and the chip make the difference. If you don't need this computer for some type of professional work, go for the MacBook Neo. It's playful, has some fun colors, it's cheap enough for you to give it to anyone, and it's fast enough for most tasks that you will do. If you love the MacBook Air's design, if you love how portable it is, but you want to use it for some work, like editing photos and even editing some video on the field, the MacBook Air is the choice for you. This has a P3 color gamma display, makes a big difference for professionals. If you love to code, if you love to do some type of medium performance task on your computer, I wouldn't buy the MacBook Neo. The 18 Pro chip here is not powerful enough for most professional tasks. You can somewhat edit a video here, you can somewhat edit the photos here. I wouldn't say that you can't, because I can, but I would say that I would be more comfortable grabbing the MacBook Air. And that's it. MacBook Air, $1,000. Awesome performance / everyday computer, while the MacBook Neo is the perfect entry-level MacBook that most people should grab. Kids, students, this is a perfect value computer, and I think it will disrupt most of the computer market. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more comparison videos. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.